right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A couple's claim of excessive force.
No! I can hear my daughter's blood curdling scream.
Tonight, the investigation into what really happened along a Lincoln County road.
Clear, quiet, and comfortable right now in St. Louis. The changes coming over the weekend that may bring some of us our first frost next week.
First breaking tonight, moment of impact. Hurricane Milton makes landfall.
So the storm is here. It's time for everybody to hunker down.
Tonight, we hear from a St. Louis native who just days ago moved into Milton's path and is riding out the storm.
I haven't been to see.
Hurricane Milton barreled ashore Florida's west coast about 2.5 hours ago. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The Category 3 storm is packing maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. Siesta Key, a popular beach community about 70 miles south of Tampa, is taking the direct hit. However, Milton's massive size is bringing heavy winds and rain throughout Florida. The biggest threat remains a potentially deadly storm surge to populated areas like Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, and Fort Myers. Weather impact meteorologist Mike Prangley from our Tampa station, WTSP, shows us the intensity of the storm.
I'm meteorologist Mike Prangley. We're feeling the power of Milton out here at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino. We've got wind speeds of 80 to 90 miles per hour. A Category 3 that officially made landfall. That's a major hurricane at Siesta Key at 8:30 p.m. tonight. And as you can see behind me, nature's full power on display. And this is why we always tell you to seek shelter and get to your safe spot like we have found here today. So as we look at the storm, it's going to continue to charge to the east. It's taken up the whole state of Florida. We've got wind gusts up near hurricane force up near 300, 400 miles out from the northern eye wall. And what you're seeing behind me is the northern eye wall, which is usually the most intense winds in these hurricanes. And that's why you're seeing some incredible wind behind me, some rain being blown in. In fact, some of the rain amounts will be well over a foot. So we're concerned about the wind damage, power outages, flash flooding as Milton continues to move to the east coast of Florida. And even by the time it arrives on the east coast, we're talking about, again, still a hurricane as it goes back into the Atlantic Ocean. So staying safe, that's what it's all about. We're here for you at 10 Tampa Bay, watching Hurricane Milton as it now tracks across Florida.
And our colleagues in Tampa are all over Milton's path. We're streaming their live wall-to-wall coverage right now on 5+. You can watch free on Apple, Roku, and Fire TV.
Hurricane Milton also spawned a massive tornado outbreak. Several twisters touched down in southern Florida, causing widespread damage. Already, more than 1 million homes and businesses throughout Florida are without power. And for the latest on Milton, let's check in with our weather impact. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connor.
Well, the storm is starting to weaken somewhat, but that's wind-wise. We still have that surge ongoing from Sarasota south down towards Fort Myers, all the way down towards Naples. Winds, though, have weakened somewhat. They're down to 105 miles per hour. Most of the strongest winds, those gusts to 125 miles per hour, they're out over the ocean or out over the Gulf, out over the open water. And you're still seeing some pretty good-sized storms here on the Atlantic side of the storm. We look at where the center of this storm is right now, and it's just off to the northeast of Sarasota. It is now southwest of Tampa. Flash flooding's ongoing in this area. The strongest winds have been on the backside of the storm, actually. We had a wind gust to 102 miles per hour in Sarasota. Just a few minutes ago, Tampa International Airport gusting to 85 miles per hour. Plus, they're dealing with 1.5 feet of rain that's fallen in St. Petersburg. You notice, though, south and east of the track there's not a lot of rain. So most of that heavier rain is going to be right along Interstate 4 going on into Orlando. So landfall was at 8:30, Siesta Key, 120 mile per hour winds sustained. That was mainly over the water. Right now in the Tampa metro area, including St. Petersburg and Sarasota, over 1 million customers without power. We're pushing 2 million in the state of Florida now. If you're trying to contact someone, phone call may not work, but try texting. Sometimes the text does go through. I know we've got a lot of friends and family down in Florida, and you want to stay in touch, so try texting them. We'll see you in a few minutes with our forecast.
A former St. Louis grandmother recently moved to the Tampa Bay area with her grandchildren.
And tonight she is tracking Milton's every move. She talked with Robert Townsend just a few hours ago. Robert.
Kelly and Mike, you bet. Nishoa Allen is watching the monstrous storm. Now, the new Floridian has a lot to say about her first time experience with the hurricane.
I haven't been asleep even all night.
Nishoa Allen is gearing up for possibly even more sleepless nights. That as Hurricane Milton pounds Florida.
I can hear the howling of the wind. It's like rain beating against the building.
Last Wednesday, the former St. Louis grandma and her 4 grandchildren moved to Riverview, Florida. That's about 23 miles outside Tampa. The children's mom, Janicia Murray, was killed in a murder-suicide in North St. Louis County 3 years ago. Their grandma is now their legal guardian.
Just wanting them in a different environment, getting them away from that. The memory of, we keep reliving that tragedy.
Now, after just days of moving to the Sunshine State, Allen, her grandchildren, and 3 of her friends have all temporarily hunkered down at a mutual friend's 3-story home in Florida. The other families are also originally from St. Louis.
Our area did not have to evacuate.
Still, they are taking precautions. Milton made landfall Wednesday evening, packing catastrophic storm surge.
I believe we have pretty much secluded this house that we're in. Got sandbags down, towels, tape, everything that you can name, shutters over the windows. So it is definitely different being here in the midst of it.
It's certainly not the warm welcome she expected.
I'm glad we still made the transition here to Florida. We're ready, right? Just in case.
Now, Allen says they've also mapped out an escape plan just in case the hurricane floods or causes major damage in their neighborhood.
And for updates on the hurricane and to stay up to date on relief efforts, text the word Milton to 314-425-5355. Developing tonight, St. Louis County Police have issued an endangered person advisory for a toddler. 2-year-old Aaron Stiles was last seen at the North County Recreation Complex that's on Redmond Road on Saturday afternoon. Police say he was taken by his mother, also named Aaron, without his father's permission and requires daily medication. The mother was driving a black Chevy Cruze. If you see them, you should call 911.
New tonight, a Lincoln County couple speaking out after a traffic stop went wrong. Body camera video from back in July shows an aggressive encounter with Troy police officers. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski talked with the family this afternoon. Laura?
Mike, the Mensons tell me their whole family is traumatized after the incident, and they wanted to share what happened to them in hopes that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
On July 11th, Aaliyah and Andrew Menson were less than a mile from their home when they were pulled over by Troy police. Police say the initial stop was for speeding and improper plates. In body camera video, when the officer approaches the SUV, he asks Andrew to get out, and it immediately takes a turn.
All right, come on back. Just relax. Relax. Stop. Stop. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back right now. Put your hands behind your back. You're not doing your hands. We are calling the police. That's it. I don't. That's it. Taser. Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground right now. Get down. Get down.
This is all happening while his wife Aaliyah and 2 children are in the SUV.
You shouldn't be treating people like that. You should have told me what was going on. You should have informed me what you were going to do. You didn't. You told me to get out of the vehicle and you immediately went hands-on, and that's not cool.
During the struggle, Aaliyah started filming from inside the SUV and says she moved from seat to seat so she could keep her eyes on her husband. Officers told her to remain in the passenger seat, and when she didn't, they said they were going to arrest her.
Yanked me as hard as he could out of that vehicle, and when I say I got yanked, I felt like a rag doll in that moment, and I smacked the pavement. My head smacked the pavement, and I went fully unconscious.
Troy police said in a statement the 2 were arrested because they were not complying with the officer's orders. They go on to say the incident was disheartening and preventable. Quote, "We take this matter seriously and are fully cooperating with the Lincoln County Prosecutor's Office. The Mensons feel differently. They're traumatized, and so are their kids.
My babies aren't sleeping. They come in and make sure we're still home, that we haven't been taken away from them again."
They believe their rights were violated and don't want this to happen to anyone else.
He needs to not be an officer anywhere. He needs to be disciplined.
I reached out to the Troy Police Department for further comment, but did not hear back today. The police statement said, quote, "We are reviewing our policies and procedures to ensure they align with best practices in de-escalation and community-oriented policing." Court documents say Andrew Menson is due in court next week.
Tonight, St. Louis police say a known gang member is off the streets. Officers arrested him after learning he was back in town to film a music video. Police had been searching for Markel Davis for weeks. He was wanted on first-degree assault and weapons charges. Davis was found hiding in a bathtub in a home near 14th and Cass. Police also arrested 4 others who were in a Jeep that Davis was in at some point. They also seized 3 guns.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office needs your help tracking down this man wanted for multiple thefts in the area. Investigators say he stole a utility vehicle from someone's home and attempted to steal copper wiring from an Ameren substation. He is also accused of stealing multiple tools and equipment used by a youth football league.
It's not like we're a business. We're non-for-profit. It's totally just for the kids in our community, and for people to take advantage of that is very sad.
If you have any information that could help lead to an arrest, call the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. That number 636-797-5089. Tonight, the mayor of Cahokia Heights was reunited with the 7-year-old girl whose life he helped save during an asthma attack.
Yeah, we first told you about this story back in August. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon explains how the whole town showed up to celebrate her.
I don't want to get emotional myself. Holding little Kennedy Dukes in his arms, Cahokia Heights Mayor Curtis McCall is meeting the 7-year-old for the first time since saving her life back in August.
I know that God had me at the right place at the right time.
She was having an asthma attack when her father showed up to City Hall in a panic. That's when Mayor McCall answered the door and performed CPR.
He told me to calm down and pray. And as soon as I prayed, she coughed and she started coming back after 7 minutes.
The community showed up in force to catch the emotional reunion.
Because of his action, the community is more aware of how we need to take CPR classes. It saves lives.
At Wednesday night's city council meeting, Mayor McCall showered Kennedy with gifts, including her favorite doll, LOL Surprise.
Oh, I think she made it!
Watch how her eyes light up.
Myself, along with the city council, we chipped in, and we're going to give the family enough money to make sure that they have an inhaler in mom's car and also dad's car going forward.
He was more happy to honor her tonight than himself.
Because to Mayor McCall, Kennedy is the shining star, a feeling cemented with an endearing kiss on the cheek.
I'm happy to have her. She's still here with me.
Thank you, Mayor, for saving my life.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
The mayor says he learned CPR from his career in law enforcement 30 years ago, and he says he never had to use it until now. He's working with city leaders to soon hold a free CPR course for people in the community.
Sickened at a steakhouse.
This is the biggest Shigella outbreak that I've seen in the United States in recent memory.
Tonight, a customer who fell ill after eating at a Metro East restaurant comes forward.
It definitely was not fun.
They just got their license to drive.
Check your mirrors.
Now teen drivers are ready for parents to hand over the keys to the car. Tonight we're pointing you in the direction of the safest models.
Milton blasting parts of Florida right now. We'll be tracking this. Plus, we're looking ahead towards some chilly air heading our way next week.
Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from a man who got severe food poisoning from a Longhorn Steakhouse in Fairview Heights.
The St. Clair Health Department is investigating what caused a Shigella outbreak there. So far, 42 customers have gotten sick, with 20 of them testing positive for the bacteria. One customer sharing how he and his wife battled the symptoms.
It definitely was not fun. There was times where during the day, me and my wife she was laying on one couch and I was laying on one couch, and we have a 6-year-old daughter at home, so we both had to take turns and high five to make sure we were taking care of her.
The Longhorn Steakhouse remains closed.
Car crashes remain the leading cause of death for teenagers. For parents, choosing the right car for their teen is no simple task. Tonight, Consumer Reports is out with a list of safe, reliable, and ideal cars for young drivers.
When your teen starts to drive, as Jackie Ferrara knows, choosing the right car is key.
Safety features such as the automatic braking system and blind spot detectors are there to make sure that not only he's safe, but everybody else on the road as well.
A good car for me would be something that's reliable, has high safety features, that's a comfortable drive.
And that's important because teenagers are among the riskiest drivers, with crash rates that are almost 4 times those of drivers 20 and older per mile driven.
Because young drivers are at such a high risk, buy a car with as much safety as your budget allows.
To help you strike a balance between cost and safety, Consumer Reports and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety identified more than 50 used cars under $20,000 with top safety and reliability ratings. On the list, you'll find some popular names like the Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and Hyundai Tucson.
Luckily, cars continue to get safer, and prices in both the new and used car market have stabilized, so we've been able to point families to even better options this year.
Consumer Reports says that proven safety features like forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, and blind spot warning are worth considering.
A teen driver's first car should be a balance. Not too big, not too small, and definitely not too fast.
Did you check your mirrors?
And as Jackie did, have a conversation with your teen before they get behind the wheel.
Making sure that we're focused on the road, limiting the distractions such as music and the amount of people in the car. Good job.
Always take your time, use your safety precautions.
Those who want and can splurge for a new car have many recommended models to choose from. One benefit is the bumper-to-bumper warranty some new cars usually come with.
Tonight, volunteers are setting up a little park that is bringing big changes to Laclede's Landing. More than 100 people are turning a vacant lot into a pocket park on Lenore K. Sullivan Boulevard near the Eats Bridge. The park includes multiple art pieces and a disc golf putting course. The park's grand opening is tomorrow night from 5 to 8. The first 100 people get a free Frisbee.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the weather impact forecast. He continues to keep an eye on Milton.
Yeah, Milton, of course, obviously the top weather story across the nation. It will have no impact on our weather here in St. Louis at all. Unlike Helene, which did, this will not. It's going to keep moving across Florida and then out to sea. But look at all that bright red. The thunderstorms continue to grow with this. It's actually interacting with a front that's to the north of it. And so that's creating some of the stronger winds right along the I-4 corridor, stretching from west of Orlando down through Tampa. Highest wind gusts we've seen on land have been around 100 miles per hour, just above that. There's still some gusts, we believe, around 125 miles per hour over the water. 75 miles southwest of Orlando right now. Flash flood warnings from coast to coast here. Gulf Coast over to the Atlantic coast across the I-4 corridor here in central Florida as the center of the storm now getting close to Fort Meade and right along that northern and western eye wall. That's where we're seeing some of the strongest winds, around 85 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts. So the power outages, they're just going to grow through the overnight hours. Storm will be offshore early tomorrow morning. It will still be battering parts of Florida into the coastal areas of Georgia, but it quickly moves away. High pressure builds in. For us, we're quiet. We have mainly clear skies tomorrow into tomorrow night. Friday, clouds may start to increase with a front trying to make a run at us, but with skies being mainly clear as we head into tomorrow night, that may set us up for something special. We'll talk about that in just a minute. 62 right now in St. Louis. Winds are calm. Dew points 49. 80 and 50. Your high and low for the day above average. The average high this time of year is 72. So most of us are dropping into the 40s overnight tonight by early tomorrow morning. A lot of dew around again. 54 for the low in St. Louis. Winds on the light side. Tomorrow, your hour-by-hour forecast pushes us back into the upper 70s by 1 o'clock. We're in the lower 80s in St. Louis, and it's a day filled with sunshine and a clear sky tomorrow evening. Around 7 o'clock, we're back to 73 degrees. So why is that important that we have a clear sky tomorrow night? Well, the weather Space Weather Prediction Center, yes, National Weather Service, or the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has that. They are predicting a severe geomagnetic storm to head towards Earth, which puts us in that K index of 8 tomorrow evening. That's higher than usual and potentially would give us a shot at seeing the northern lights from St. Louis tomorrow evening. Some of you saw them over the weekend. Maybe we get a chance at it tomorrow night. Perhaps Friday night doesn't. We're not sure on that. But it's pretty nice during the afternoon hours here the next few days. Bright skies, temperatures well above average. In fact, Saturday, a little on the toasty side, upper 80s, but without the humidity. And then we start to cool off. It gets breezy. And maybe we're talking about frost for some areas next week, especially our normally colder spots along about Tuesday or Wednesday morning. That'll depend on the skies, whether we have some clouds, and the breeze as well. But Milton will have no effect on our weather. However, Florida having issues tonight.
We're thinking about all those folks down there.
The power outages grow.
Thanks, Scott. Here's Frank for sports.
A CBC grad had a cool moment in the playoffs. SLU basketball has a chance to be pretty good, and City SC did something very good for a little boy today. We'll be right back.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
I don't know about the rest of you, but when I'm watching postseason baseball, I'm paying a lot of attention to our ex-Cardinals. You can see the list of 12 right behind me. There's no Randy Arozarena version tearing it up this year, but these former Cardinals are all over the place, and I wish a few were still here, don't you? Like the manager of the Padres, Mike Shildt, all he has done is win. But in Game 4 tonight against the Dodgers in the third inning, a man named Will Smith enjoyed the pursuit of happiness with this towering 432-foot home run, and the Dodgers right now lead it 5-0 in the 7th inning. The great Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City tonight for Game 3 of the Royals and the Yankees. In the 8th, Giancarlo Stanton will break a 2-2 tie with a towering homer to left field. The Yankees win it 3-2. They lead the series 2-1. And oh, by the way, the Yankee payroll is $177 million more than the Royals. Game 3, ALDS, Guardians in Detroit, and the pride of CBC, Matt Vierling continues to deliver. This sacrifice fly in the third scored Jake Rogers, gave Detroit a 2-0 lead. Later in the 7th, Vierling makes a tremendous catch to rob David Fry. Matt can play every position on the field. Tigers win 3-0. They lead the series 2-1. John McEnroe on the left watching the Mets against the Phillies. In the words of Johnny Mac, "You cannot be serious." I am. The New York Mets got this grand slam home run by Francisco Lindor in the 6th inning, and the team that was 11 games under 500 in May has advanced to the NLCS with a 4-1 win. So, despite the Cardinal season, there is some optimism on the local sports scene. The Blues with a big win to open the season, and SLU has Josh Schertz coaching their basketball team. ESPN analyst Jay Billis says Schertz sees the game on a different level of innovation and ingenuity. Last year, Schertz's Indiana State squad was 4th in the country in three-pointers, 7th overall in offensive efficiency, and only 2 teams won more games than the Sycamores' 32. Today, I asked a player to compare last year's team with this year's Billiken squad.
This team is different from last year, but we still got skills, shooting, size, and I would even say for this team specifically, we're more athletic and we're bigger. So, each team has its own thing each and every year. Schertz does a good job of, making sure that we all individually stay in our strength zone. So I think whenever you got a head coach that's as great as him, he'll make sure we're in the right position.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Well, let me say this. City SC does a lot of things right as an organization. One of them is creating unforgettable moments for their youngest fans. This is a 7-year-old named Bryce Biles. He's fighting lymphoma and can use all the positive energy he can get. He got plenty of that today at a City SC practice where the team treated him as one of the guys. It was a special day for Bryce and his family.
A couple weeks ago, Bryce said, "This is going to be the worst 2 years of my whole life," and it kind of felt like that at the moment. And then we've just seen how our community has really rallied around us to help us do things that are life-changing and exciting and that he's going to remember forever.
It felt a lot like I was just on their team. It meant a lot to me.
It was a little tear-jerking for a second just to see him just be a part of the team and one of the guys. So it was really awesome.
In a couple of years from now,
he is
when
precious.
Bryce is playing soccer, he's going to remember this forever. It's awesome. Great job, City SC.
Thanks, Frank.
Left behind in the path of the storm, the heartbreaking rescue just hours before Hurricane Milton made landfall. Tonight, a dog is safe after being abandoned in the path of Hurricane Milton. A Florida highway trooper spotted the pup tied to a fence along I-75 in the Tampa area. Rain was falling. The dog's legs were nearly covered in water. The trooper took the dog to a shelter, and authorities are urging Floridians who evacuated to take their pets to ensure their safety.
And breaking now in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is a picture from the NBC affiliate in Tampa showing the roof torn off Tropicana Field. That's the home of the Tampa Bay Rays. Scott, you were telling us about this, and you think that maybe some of the people that are down there visiting, helping the power companies stay alive, that they were supposed to stay there.
I think they had cots set up in there inside Tropicana Field for the power crews that were staged in the area or as they were coming in after the storm. So obviously that's going to have an impact there. Wind just gusted, by the way, to 95 miles per hour, I believe, at Tampa International, either 93 or 95. So they still got a couple more hours to deal with the gusty winds in Tampa.
Lots more news tomorrow. There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
And start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m.